There is some bad news for anyone looking at the Maruti Jimny or Hyundai Creta or anything in between that. There is bad news for Mahindra 3XO, XUV 700, Scorpio N. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, Mahindra Thar ROXX is a segment breaker across segments. Yes, this is a car which is the SUV in real sense is actually going to disrupt a lot of things. I'm going to dive down deep into this and let's find out reasons why not to buy a car. To start with, this has got 5 doors, ample of legroom and a lot of creature comforts, including a panoramic sunroof. Let's begin from the design. Now, this is a 6-pack grille. You know why 6-pack? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it looks distinct than the Jeep Wrangler. If you're comparing it, I've put that car next to it. See, this is looking very distinct. I'm not sure about the naming because they were actually contemplating calling it the Thar 5, but they finally decided to go with Thar ROXX because in their DNA, this is like a rock, which gives you a rock kind of a solidity, at the same time creature comforts, which will give you a lifestyle and luxury feel. This is a C-type DRL LED, and there's a lot of work which has gone into this. It's called the eye of the car. From this you connect with the car, and from that angle they have done a pretty good job. You know, this is actually wider than the Force Gurkha. This is not taller than the Force Gurkha, and in terms of length is also longer than the Force Gurkha. I've dropped a comparison chart for you to compare this with Force Gurkha for the simple reason because Gurkha is a huge car, and the Thar 5-door next to it looks even good, even huge, but not that intimidating. And as you can see, the side step is strong enough for an 80 kg able human being to sit here comfortably and chatting with you. The alloys. You see this logo? This actually is derived from the Twin Peak logo, and it kind of looks very cool. Very fresh thought by Mahindra. And a couple of things very interesting also about this door handle. This is again distinct. This doesn't have a side door handle. This comes from the side, something like a 3XO, and it kind of looks good. These hinges actually is, again, these are very similar to what you get in Jeep Wrangler, but this is not a Jeep Wrangler, and it looks very, very cool. In terms of the side proportion, this is something which is very debatable. This is a metal body, and they have given a distinction. This looks like a roll cage kind of a thing which will come down. From the aftermarket, I'm sure a lot of people will actually try and put a roll cage. They are not giving this from the side, but this gives it a distinction. The whole idea of the design language, according to Mr. Pratap Bose, is that when you sit in the car of another car and they look at a Thar, so you can spot when you are very close that this is a Thar ROXX and not any other car. So in that sense, they have actually quite comfortably won. And to tell you something very honestly, since last night, it was looking very, very idiotic to me. I was not liking this. But today, it's grown 50%. So the more and more I see, the more and more I begin to like it. And trust me, this grows on you. From the rear, this gives you a very similar looking than the existing Thar. Just that the size of the wheel has gone up. The alloy wheels design has completely refreshed. And this is a familiar space. But what is not familiar is the boot space. 644 liters of boot space from head to bottom, and that's humongous. That means that this can go for a cross-country trip without any complaints. And something to note, there is a wiper here. Unlike the coupe SUV of the Tata Curve, it comes with a wiper, which means a 1-up from the Tata Curve, if you know what I mean. Let's move on this side. There's a 4x4 Thar badging. Again, the Easter design continues in the glass panel here, 3/4, and the door panel. Now let me step inside and show you what the legroom is all about. Well, this is a very, very luxurious place. First of all, you have a panoramic sunroof in front of you, ample of headroom, decent legroom. You sit actually comfortable, headrest, but you sit very high up. So I assume that when it's going to ride, since you're very close to the tires, the ride quality won't be that great, and that's where the Creta is one up from this. But apart from that, if you ask me, you'll be surprised when you sit inside because it looks so rich, so luxurious. This cream leather finish, which will attract dust, but it's also wipeable. You have a nice grab handle to come out, and there's one C-type charging cable at the rear for you. AC vents. All in all, whatever that you need has been given, including this bottle, which apparently I think you will have to buy. Let's go to the front now. And what is very nice is that the off-roading levers is very premium. Unlike the regular Thar, this is very neat. Somehow this also slots in very well, and the automatic, this all looks very good. You have two bottle holders made to size. They have given us this bottle also, and you've got electronic parking, key sensor. It's time to drive and tell you how it drives. Ultimately, it's also about the driving. In terms of design, in terms of creature comforts, they have thrown in everything. They have thrown so much that when you look at any other car, you have to ask yourself, why not the Thar ROXX? That's what we will decode at the end. Why not to buy the Thar? Because there are 200 reasons why to buy. We'll figure out why not to buy the Thar. 10.25-inch MMI screen. The screen resolution is very good. It's actually also a very neat interface, something that you have seen in 3XO. You got a wireless charging right here. You can see right now. You have all these options of def lock and ventilated seats button, and the speak volume button, which is not touch, which is very nice. You get a 360 camera view. You also get a camera angle, when the moment you give a indicator, you get a camera feed right here, which is something which is very Creta and Hyundai Alcazar type thing. So they have taken features which are from every segment best and packed in everything here. Now it's time to drive and tell you how it feels on the road. Mahindra has given us powertrain options both in diesel and petrol, automatic, manual, also with creature comfort. So you have a checklist. You can take your pick, whatever you want, and there's a price point to that. So they have completely given you a buffet of options to choose from. The best part is that the moment you drive hard, it actually feels more refined, more good than driving slow. In the road, the ride quality is, of course, much better than the existing Thar, but the bumps and the jerks do seep in because it is a high ground clearance car. This is a large car, so there is no way that it won't get it. So this is where Creta actually scores over this. When I say Creta, I mean the likes of Creta, Seltos, and all of them in that variant, even the XUV 700. But if you ask me overall, as a driver, you feel a sense of power. You feel that, yes, you're driving that Thar, a large Thar. And people actually turning around right now and looking at the car because this is also new. But in terms of totality, in terms of even the creature comforts, this makes it very, very comfortable to drive. For example, the moment I give an indicator, just like the Hyundai Alcazar and Creta, you get a screen feed right in front of you. The screen resolution is dimmed, but you have an option to adjust that, and which makes it even more interesting. There is no blind spot like that. You get level 2 ADAS, which was unthinkable of in Thar. You get A-type, you get C-type, you get wireless. The screen in front of me is also quite bright and it's exactly proportionate. It's how it's supposed to be. Now, what I didn't like about the Thar is that it could have made the ground clearance a little more lower and given a lift option. Now that's me nitpicking, because how can they give you a lift option and increase the price again? At this price point, they've given you everything. But if you have to really find out flaws, then this is how stupid you have to sound. Lift option in Thar, come on, that's not happening. So this is all in all a good mile muncher. You can drive this on highway all the way, and you can also take it for off-roading. I am driving the top of the line M-Hawk diesel variant 2.2 liter automatic variant, whose price has not been announced yet. Mahindra does this very smartly. They give us the car which is top of the line. They don't tell us the price, so we don't know. Now, in my understanding, this should be priced around 22-21 lakhs because of all the features that it had, which means on road it will come about 25-26 lakhs, which is again a very aggressive pricing, even in those standards. So, if you have to summarize, buying Thar ROXX could be a car that you would like to buy as a single car. Now, the existing Thar owners had an option. If they buy a Thar, they need to have one more car because it's not ingress. It's not easy for elderly people in the family, or just like that. It's not a fully bodied car. But the Thar ROXX breaks that complete segment into shatters, and it is going to take away from the likes of Creta also, though they are poles apart in terms of ride quality, in terms of creature comforts, they do match, but in terms of ride quality, they both are different. But more and more I'm driving, the more and more I'm enjoying it, because these highways are of course good, and you don't feel those bumps and insulations as hard as the existing Thar or the Jimny. So this is where I rest my case. More, let's pull over and let's show you something more. It's time for a verdict, and to answer that question, why you should not buy the Thar 5-door or the Thar ROXX. First up, if you want to drive something which is very hard at higher speeds at 120, 100, then this Thar ROXX is definitely not for you, because it will be wobbly. You'll be driving at a very high position, you won't feel comfortable. At a slightest of bump, you will tend to jump. That's the first conclusion. So that answers the question that this is not a credit replaceable, because it is credit replaceable to a certain extent, but you want to drive on a city road at a higher speeds, then this will disappoint you. Apart from that, there is no other reason why I think why you should not buy the Thar. The looks are good, it looks this part in terms of creature comfort. They have given it to the hilt, because there's nothing that you really don't have. I like the powertrain options, I like the variants that they've given. They've not given us the price of the automatic diesel, which we have been driving incidentally, so this is not a conclusive review from that perspective, but we know that the manual version costs about 18 19 lakhs, so it would be another 2-3 lakhs ex showroom. So at your home, by the time it comes to your garage, it should cost 25 lakhs, and that's a good price for the features that it comes with, because then you actually don't need another Thar 3-door or you need an XUV 700, because this car can replace both of them. So what Mahindra has done, essentially, they have given you one car to replace from its own fleet. So basically this ROXX actually cuts across segments. Do drop in the comment what you think of the Thar, whether you like the car or not. This is going to get the sales numbers, that's for sure. The bookings are going to open on 14th of September. There is already a pre-booking happening at the dealership level. I expect it to also have some black level of thing, which is what Thar does. But only one thing which is disappointing, which will take some time to grow, is this part. Rest is all good. See you in the next one. Until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and press the bell icon